Kia ora. Because it's Cook Island Language Week, I've asked the Honourable Porter Williams, who until recently was an assistant speaker, to come and help me with this briefing. First of all, congratulations on becoming a minister. What's the Cook Island word for minister?
It's te minita, just as it is in New Zealand Māori. But I do want to say kia ora na e te tuatua, e te waa tuatua, which is how I would greet you as the speaker.
E te
waa tuatua.
E te waa tuatua. Oh, thank you.
That's right. And when we're greeting Madam Speaker, it would be maine waa tuatua.
Right, that's good, but I hope we're not going to have one of those too soon. Or I suppose if it's if in the chair, if it's a deputy or the assistant, then that's okay. Yeah, I just hope you weren't lining me up for the sack.
Never, no, doing a great job.
So today's Wednesday, the 7th of August. How would we say Wednesday in Cook Island?
Now you're asking something, the days of the week, but the day is very important. So if I could just say why we have our Language Week during August is because it's our constitutional day. So it's the day that we recognise that we became self-governing as a country in association with New Zealand. So August, Akuhata, is a very important month for us. So that's why we have our National Language Day during this week.
That's really good. So today we'll start off with questions. The first one is from Deborah Russell to the Minister of Finance about reports on the economy, which is a pretty standard government question, which we possibly call a patsy. I won't ask for an interpretation of that. The next one is to the Prime Minister. How would you say Prime Minister on Cook Island Māori?
Well, she is Te Pirimiad, as she is in New Zealand Māori. That she is the Prime Minister, so Pirimiya is right, that. It's almost an alliteration of Premier.
Okay, and that's what we used to have, and if I was really knowledgeable, I could say when we changed from Premier to Prime Minister, but I can't remember. So the question from David Seymour is about the leave of absence that the Chief of Staff took from her office right back at the beginning of the setup. The third question is from Simon Bridges, again to the Prime Minister, about whether she stands by her government statements, policies and actions. Jamie Strange has a question to the Minister for Trade, progress on increasing trade, growing exports. Paul Goldsmith to the Minister of Finance, a question about the economy again. Michael Woodhouse to the Associate Minister of Health about the effects of climate change on health. Maria Lubeck to the Minister for Workplace Relations and Safety about salary and wage growth. Chris Bishop to the Associate Minister of Transport about whether she agrees with Phil Twyford's characterisation of a letter about which there's been some discussion. Nikki Kay to the Associate Minister of Education around the allocation of learning support coordinators. Kiritapu Allen to the Minister of Employment about employment for Māori and young people. Shane Retty to the Minister of Education about the reform of vocational education. And Paula Bennett to the Minister of Women about workplace bullying and intimidation. We'll then go on to general debate. What's a word for a debate or a discussion in Cook Island Māori?
What I do want to say is we do have a word that's around asking questions, which is taku wianga, which is so asking a question in the course of the discussion in Parliament. And when we have a decision, it's called tukutukuanga tika. So, and you may find some of these words come up during the course of the discussion today. Right,
that'll be good. Well, I'll know what people are saying without need for translation. I think just to be absolutely certain, can we make sure that I've got a sheet with them printed out on them so I can just make sure that people are being kind to me.
We certainly can do that for you, Mr. Speaker.
Once or twice in the past we've had incidents of people using language which I didn't understand. So we then go to the general debate. We have a government notice of motion around the establishment of the Abortion Legislation Committee. So the government will on Thursday move a bill to shift abortion from the Crimes Act to the health legislation, and it will go to a special select committee which will be set up as a part of this motion. Then there will be appointments moved by Andrew Little to the Electoral Commission and Chris Hipkins to the Representation Commission. The third reading of the Misuse of Drugs Amendment Bill, which Parliament spent a bit of time focused on recently, and then the Marrakesh Treaty Implementation Bill in the name of Chris Farfoy, and a bit more of the committee stages of the Contempt of Court Bill. If we get finished that, we'll go on to the Privacy Bill, which is an interrupted second reading, and then possibly get on to the Parliamentary Agencies Delegations Legislation Bill, which sounds sort of really complicated, but it's pretty simple. It just means that the Parliamentary Service and the Office of Clerk will be able to run joint teams with responsibilities a bit more direct than they are at the moment. So Parliament will tonight run through until 10 o'clock. What's the word for goodbye?
Well, it's airera,
All right.
just like it is in New Zealand Māori.
All right.
But Cook Island Māori often has extra syllables, and it's a slightly softer sounding language.
Yeah,
so
yes.
it's, in Māori you'd say kia ora, we say kia ora ana. So, yeah.
O kia ora, airera.
Kia ora ana.